Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me on Berets. There hasn't been a lot of videos lately because there hasn't been much to talk about. Honestly, besides Al Algion, however you pronounce his name, uh, besides him, there hasn't been really a ton to talk about in either the JP or the global side. Currently on the JP side, we just have a story re-event, which is more boring than it sounds. And if you think, how the hell can it be more boring than it sounds? Well, Alum found a way. But it is, I guess, a little bit of downtime with Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out pretty quickly, as well as Resident Evil 2 Remake, and probably a slew of backlog games and other things. You know, it's not necessarily bad to have a little bit of time off, but here on the global side, Global is getting a bit of news, as they usually do about this time. There's probably a better way to say that. But coming to the game this week is another CG unit, and particularly a CG unit that is a big favorite of mine. Folka, Water Veritas, or Veritas of the Water, whatever she's called in English. She is just like my favorite of the Veritas. She was my favorite in armor. She was in my favorite out of armor. And her coming to the game back when it happened on the JP side was a big deal to me. I freaking lost it. And you can go back and check that out at any time you want. Just search through my videos for Folka and it'll pop up. But Folka was the unit that I was wanting the most. She was going to be a healer. Healers are pretty much essential to any team. So getting Folka on my team was awesome. And to be fair, when her kit came out, it was a little bit disappointing. Much like getting an email in the middle of you recording a video. But still, Folka is definitely a unit that is a lot of hype for me. But I'm going to look at her objectively for this video. Is she worth pulling? Because here's the thing. She comes on a banner with a couple other units, Yubel, as well as Kihana and Icor. Each of these units has something interesting to offer. But more than anything, I mean, the 11k step-ups don't give you anything guaranteed, but the up rates to get the specific unit are a pretty good chance, especially if you're missing that specific class the unit represents. Folka being a healer, if you don't have a 7-star healer, this is a really good banner for that reason. And keep in mind that there is a bit of a caveat to this. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed here, but if you are looking to get a healer, there's a lot worse things you could do. If you're looking to hedge your bets on Folka, then you can probably go to step 3. If you don't get anything by step 3, maybe just, back off, call it quits. If you're a big fan of Folka, I say just do the entire thing, because 11k Lapis isn't necessarily that bad. You should still have time to save up some more Lapis before the Chinese New Year's, which is something that everybody is particularly excited about. And continuing on after that, it's a while still until Aerith. And Aerith is the next big healer banner. Barring anything new on the global side, that is an exclusive that I have no knowledge about. But hey, you're here for, some advice based on the JP side. And that being said, Folka is a very good healer, and more than that, she probably has a lot of life left in her. Why? Because CG units, and specifically main character FFBE units, get a lot of support into the future. We already have seen Folka's enhancements in the future. They are really, really good, if I could find them. Here they are. Boosting basically what her support does, and this is one of the big parts of her kit. Excuse me. Okay. Two big abilities in her kit are giving basically 100% stop, charm, and all status effects. You can tell I've been talking all day. My voice is literally dying. But also just gives better benefits to each of them, including, barriers, as well as, some stat boosts and everything like that, as well as, MP heals on those. Extra, spirit, like a total of 100% spirit for equipping a staff, and better counters that cure all status ailments. So, Folka into the future just her enhancements make her really good again. But there is one other thing to know, and that would be the series boss battles on the JP side. Recently, the first of the Brave Exvius series boss battles came out, and it improved all of the the heroes in the game. You know, characters such as Fina, all 20 versions of Fina. No, well, the big versions of Fina. Rain, Awakened Rain, Laswell, and the new abilities they got were pretty substantial to a lot of the old CG units, to the point where Laswell is almost a top tier damage dealer now. Almost. And, you know, Lid got better breaks. There's a lot of arguments that I could say that CG Nickel is the best, you know, buffer in the entire game who is not limited time only. So that series boss battle went a long way, and you can bet that there is going to be a second one into the future. Nothing has been officially announced, but it is almost a dead certainty that we'll see one for the Veritas units somewhere down the line that will give them new abilities. If the new abilities are any kind of indication, then Folka could have a good long lifespan into the future. Now, with that being said, Folka is by no means better than Aerith or Warrior Light Lena. Both of those units are way better healers than Folka is. Mainly Folka lacks a couple of big things, an AoE revive ability probably being the most harmful part in her kit, as well as missing Dispel Gun. They are two things to be considered, or to remember when you are, you know, trying to get this unit. You know, if you have Bushido Freedom, if you have, you know, some form of other Dispel in your party, then her not having Dispel is not a big deal at all. But she has really good support, both for water resistance, MP recovery, and status effects as well. The only caveat here is that she has no innate protection against stop or charm, which is something that feels really backwards, considering that she can give immunity to it. It would be nice if she could, you know, just prevent it, but she does not have that. So that might be a consideration for whether or not you should get her. Otherwise than that, her MP is probably her strongest stat. Her Super Trust Mastery, just to look it up. Also, the only thing I've also noticed is that there is no global exclusive bonus, and I think that's fine. Again, as I've already said, I think there's a lot of lifespan because of all the enhancements and bonuses that FFB units are going to get into the future, as what we've seen. Not 100% certain, but still feel pretty good about that recommendation. Looking at her Super Trust Mastery, Staff of Ripples is just a very beautiful Super TMR. 150 MP, 12 attack, and 166 spirit. 30% boost to MP as well as water resistance of 50%. Elemental resistance is really important into the future, and looking at, you know, the spirit stats and everything, this is just a great staff. Absolutely fantastic. Her TMR as well is pretty darn good for anyone who needs MP and Spirit, and there are plenty of units out there, and it boosts, you know, Limit Burst and restores MP per turn. I think that Hero's Vow Water is just really, 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 really good. And looking at the rest of the units on this banner, there is some good stuff here that does play a part into the future. Taking a look at Yubel has a TMR that is a 40% attack up and extra 50% physical damage versus plants. This is not just good for Marlboro, this is actually good for X-Death, strangely enough. There are units into the future that do classify as plants, and if you want to go the physical route, this is not a bad TMR to get. Killers are really important, especially for upping your damage. So yeah, I would not, you know, poo-poo Yubel, even though he is just a 4-star unit, and that kind, you know, 4 stars are just not that good anymore. Also, he's a Chocobo unit. Cool. Next up is Kihana. Now, Kihana is also just a really good unit that I seem to forget quite regularly. But Kihana's necklace is an accessory. It's 45 spirit. Great for healers. Any healer in the entire game, any magic tank. This is just a good, solid accessory, and I actually really like her design. It looks really cool. It's always weird how the 4-star and 3-star units get a lot of cool stuff. And as for those who are fans of Tifa, well, good news, Icor is coming to the game. Why is Icor such a big thing? Well, he does have a Splash Knuckle, 125 attack with the water element. Particularly good just for Tifa, not having to imbue herself with her own element. Not a big deal by any means, but synergizes nice with Tifa, or if you put this on some other Fist user, to chain with Tifa. Or another unit that, you know, isn't necessarily just a Fist user, but you want the water element on. Anyway, this unit feels like it probably should have been on the FF7 banner, but you know, a water element weapon is pretty good to get your hands on, and great for Tifa, who's a dual wielder and gets some nice enhancements into the future. No, I haven't done it. Don't ask me. Just don't have the gil. But in total, I would say that it's just a really nice event for getting your hands on a couple of new units. First of all, I would say that... Why is the game flashing? Okay. Just connecting, I guess. Folka is a really solid healer, a more solid healer than most people give her credit for. Especially with her enhancements in the future, she is a really good healer. And if my bet is probably right here, whatever the series boss battle for the Veritas unit that shows up will probably have some ability that gives her AoE revive or dispel, or heck, both. Dispel the enemy and put in AoE revive. That would be pretty cool, although it'd probably be a cooldown. Either way, I could see Folka being good, really good into the future. If you don't have a 7-star healer, this is a single 5-star banner that has a healer on it that you can probably pretty easy get to a 7-star with only a small investment of Lapis. Yes, 11k Lapis is a small investment. Ever since on the JP side, there are now 50k Lapis banners. Again. But the 4-stars and the 3-star, I think, are really good for their own various reasons. Obviously, the 3-stars probably only really super good if you have Tifa and if you're lacking for equipment anyway. But Kihana is just great for a lot of different spirit-based units into the future, and trust me, there are quite a few of those. As for Yubil's extra attack plus killer is definitely going to be great for the X-Death series boss battle. A long ways out to be sure, but there is value on this banner. Other than that, not really much. Folka unit intro, blah blah blah, Gaia's Cliff exploration. Yeah, so that's all for me. Hope you guys are doing well, and if you go for Folka, best of luck to you. Anyway, that's all. See you next time.